Hey guys, Ivan here, and the day has come. Mr. Olympia is happening, it's starting today. Yesterday there was a press conference, and I gotta say, finally it was an actual press conference. So they went back to the way they were doing things before, which was much better. Plus, this time, the actual press was asking questions, so it was an actual press conference. If you guys haven't seen it, you can still watch it on Mr. Olympia website. You just have to pay your fee for the pay-per-view. It's $75. I know, it's a lot, but it is what it is. I mean, I can't post it right here on my channel because they would probably take down my channel. But I gotta tell you, it was really cool. It was really awesome. Finally, they're listening to the fans, to the audience. And they're doing what we want, what we think is the best, and definitely this way of doing the press conference is far better than whatever they were doing last year. That stuff was just really weird. This was much better. And I also wonder, will they allow the athletes to wear suits, maybe next year? I think it will be really cool. I don't like the fact that everybody has to wear the same thing. I know bodybuilders, they look kind of funny wearing suits, but I think it's more interesting that way still. Anyways, there is another really cool thing, really awesome thing, another sign that Mr. Olympia is listening to us. As you can see right here in this report, it says that 2023 Mr. Olympia will feature a redesigned stage setup with improved lighting and darker backgrounds to minimize distractions and highlight athletes. Finally, everybody has been talking about this for years. I mean, they were destroying shows. They're still doing that in other shows. Some shows less, some shows more. Arnold Classic did a pretty good job, and I hope Mr. Olympia will follow up. I hope they will do it actually much better this year, as this photographer of the MPC and IBB, Jonathan Moria, says right here that the lighting and the background are improved. So hopefully it's actually gonna be different. It's gonna be much better. I hope so. It seems like it's gonna be based on this photo. And based on what this photographer is saying, because usually before the shows they do a little test. They test the lighting, they put an athlete under the lights and they do everything. And he was probably there taking a photo to see what it looks like. And so if he's telling us this, then this means that things are gonna be different. Things are gonna be better. Alright, next we got a video, finally, an explanation from Nick Walker as to what exactly happened. How did the injury occur? Now, in my video, I assumed, as I'm sure everybody has, that he was training too heavy a week before the show, or that he was doing some dangerous exercises and just pushing himself a little bit too much. I think everybody kind of assumed that. I thought it was either that or he was doing something out of the gym that was risky. But, as he explains here, none of that happened. It's very interesting to hear what he has to say, so let me play this part for you guys.
Immediately after you announced it, everyone was saying, what an idiot. He was probably doing 500-pound, 600-pound squats. They all assumed.
Like that. Everyone knows I don't lift that heavy no more, so. No, I didn't. No, there was no leg training whatsoever. It was last Tuesday is when I felt it. I wasn't even training legs, I was training chest. And I kind of just remember standing up, and I just felt like a little, ting. I didn't think nothing of it, you know. As I got home and stuff, it was still bothering me. And then Wednesday when I went to go work out, it started to bruise. And then Thursday, I sent pictures to Matt, and it just really got worse and was blurring all the lines. And then we went to train on Thursday, to shoulders. And after that workout specifically, I couldn't walk.
So there you go, guys, you just heard it. I mean, it didn't even happen during a leg training. It did happen in the gym, but he was training chest. And as he got up off of the bench, he felt a tear. How is this possible? It's really weird. I guess it was simply wear and tear. His hamstring was ready to snap at any moment. And it just happened at that time, and he was probably, I guess, he didn't say it, but I guess he was doing some dumbbell pressing, and he got up off that bench holding some heavy dumbbells. And you guys know that he rarely ever does any barbell work. If he's doing free weight presses, it's with dumbbells. So it doesn't make sense also. It doesn't make much more sense than if he got off of a machine. I mean, he was holding those dumbbells in his arms. I mean, how much stress was he putting on his hamstring? So it's really weird. Maybe it's not even true. Maybe he tore that hamstring doing super heavy deadlifts and he doesn't want to admit to his fans because we would all be pissed at him. And I don't think Matt Jensen would tell him to do something crazy like that a week before the show. So maybe he doesn't want even Matt to know. But, let's assume that he's telling us the truth. I mean, he got up off the bench and he tore a hamstring so bad that he couldn't even walk, that he is in a wheelchair now. I don't know, man, this all sounds really weird, but in the end it doesn't really matter. What matters is we do not get to see Nick Walker at the Mr. Olympia stage this year, and the way he looked like he could have won that show. I'll tell you what I think when the prejudging starts, when I see the other guys, but I honestly doubt that any of these guys made this much progress. I think he just surpassed everybody this year and that he could have won or at least went one spot higher than last year, placing in the top 2. But then again, who knows? Maybe everybody else made a lot of progress and everybody would peak perfectly, so Nick would end up in 4th. And maybe next year, not everybody is going to be at their 100% and he's going to beat everybody and win the Mr. Olympia. I mean, it's only 1 year. Maybe his career is going to last like 10 years, and in a long run, that 1 year won't really matter that much. I mean, there is nothing good that can come out from this. Just this is a horrible situation for us fans and for Nick Walker, let's admit that. But, for example, Jay Cutler skipped 2002 Mr. Olympia. And does it matter now? No. But then again, Ronnie wasn't at his best that year, so maybe he would have won the Mr. Olympia and then reigned for who knows how many years. But I doubt it, because Ronnie came 2003 looking freakier than ever. Also, Branch Warren had a really bad, I think, leg injury 2008 when Jay wasn't at his best and he lost to Dexter Jackson. And if Branch was there and he looked his best, he would have probably beaten Dexter Jackson and would have become the Mr. Olympia. So maybe this will completely ruin Nick Walker, or maybe it won't matter at all. Anyways, it is what it is. It happened. What happened? There is nothing to do about it now. Next year, I'm sure we'll see a much improved version of Nick Walker. Maybe they will give him a special invite. I think he deserves it. I do want to see him compete more than once next year, but I also want to see him make as much progress as possible. And after what happened to him 1 week before the Mr. Olympia, I think he deserves that special invite, but we'll see what's going to happen. Alright, next we got a physique update of classic physique Mr. Olympia contender Wesley Vissers, in which he does look really impressive. He does look very, very classic. Super wide shoulders, lats popping. They are a little bit high inserted, but still they're popping a lot. Big arms, big biceps, pretty small waist from this angle, big rib cage that makes this vacuum look awesome. And here he looks like really good. Here you can see the conditioning basically and the fullness and the size. He looks really good, and last year he was 8. Can he repeat that this year? Honestly, I don't know. I doubt it. I don't think he's as ripped as he was last year at the Mr. Olympia. He's a little bit bigger and fuller, but I don't think he's as conditioned. And there is another thing, like in these side shots, these shots that he takes from this angle, from the sides, you can't see the problem with his physique, and it is his V taper, his structure. Take a look at this. Also, very recent footage, and as you can see right here, look at the V taper. The structure in the front double. Like it doesn't flow as well as it does, for example, for Chris Bumstead. In the side shots, like twisted back, like that Arnold pose, like all this side chest, everything else, it all looks much better than his front double bicep, and that's probably the most important pose. It is the pose where you can see how classic somebody is, how well does their physique flow. And here, like, the legs are not big enough, the lats are too high, the waist is not that small really. He doesn't have that same flow that, for example, Chris Bumstead does, and everybody else basically in that top 6, top 10, let's say. He does have some really cool features. I'm a big fan of him and his physique, but can he be in that top 8 again or place higher this year? I don't know. I doubt it. Top 10, maybe, but that's probably the best outcome for him. Now, this here is one of the best structures in the world for classic physique, Terence Ruffin. And I'll predict it right now. I'll say right now, this guy is going to be top 2. This guy is going to be battling against Chris Bumstead. He won't beat him, but I think he's going to beat Ramon Dino, I think he's gonna beat Urs Kalecinski, Brian Aisley, and everybody else. I think maybe he's gonna battle against Ramon Dino, but I think everybody else, I think he's gonna destroy everybody because this guy has like the second most classic and most perfect, like most complete physique in classic physique, if you ask me. Last year his conditioning was off. Now it seems like he's very much on, even though he's much shorter than Wesley, than Sibam, than so many other top classic physique guys. He still has that structure, that flow. It cannot be ignored as long as he's ripped, as long as he's shredded. And I feel like he's going to be. I feel like he is already, and he's going to get probably even drier and just more impressive as the show comes. So let's wait and see, but I have high hopes for Terence Ruffin. At this point, we can say officially that Behrouz Tabani is unfortunately not going to be competing at the Mr. Olympia. He did not get the visa, unfortunately. One of the best physiques in the world right now is not able to compete at the best show in the world, which is really horrible, but it is how it is. If he competed, I would have placed him in my top 10 for sure. Now, without Nick Walker for sure, I would probably give him like, I don't know, somewhere between 10th to 8th, maybe. And even though, unfortunately, we won't get to see him at the Mr. Olympia, we will see this guy on the stage soon. As you can see here in the caption, Milos Archev says that he's going to be competing a week after the Mr. Olympia, and it is Romania Pro, and I think it's Japan. You guys correct me if I'm wrong, but there are a couple of post-Olympia shows, and he's going to be doing those. And who he's going to be colliding against? Well, at least we know for one bodybuilder who is not doing the Mr. Olympia, who, if he was doing the Mr. Olympia, in my prediction, he would be somewhere between 6th to 8th, and that's Nathan the Asha. Unfortunately, he was also unable to travel to the US and to be where he belongs, but we will see him in those post-Olympia shows, and it's gonna be very interesting to watch that fight. I mean, Nathan the Asha versus Behrouz Tabani. That will make a very interesting mashup. I can't wait to watch that. But before we get to that, we have first Mr. Olympia, which is going to be a crazy show starting tonight, guys. So stay tuned, subscribe to this channel for more bodybuilding coverage and Mr. Olympia coverage. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you soon. All the best and bye-bye.